Hi there, and welcome to WMCT Live Sessions. My name is Alex O'Neill. This is the show where I combine my passions for music and journalism and have interesting conversations with local musicians and actually show you some of their music as well. First and foremost, I'm a musician. I am a guitarist, a vocalist, a bass player, synth player, pianist, and I'm also a journalist, and this is kind of like a dream come true for me to be able to do a show like this. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for checking out the last episode with Adam Clapper. This episode, I have Melodious Zach in the studio, who is a Marlborough legend. You've probably seen his music on our Access channel, and maybe you even saw his feature-length movie on our Access channel as well earlier this year. So here he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Zach, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic, Alex. How are you?
I'm great. Your holiday season went well. You had a happy new year?
I did. How about yourself?
You know, I have no complaints. I'm looking forward to 2023, especially looking forward to this show. And I understand you're going to play some original music for us today, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Is this going to be a song that we've heard before?
Yes. This first tune is going to be, I guess you could call it my theme song.
Ah.
Yes. So it's called Oh Melodious Song, and that will inform a little bit of one of
my questions about the lore of Melodious Zach.
Yes,
and all
the legend, the lore, the myth, the magic.
Well, I'm very excited, and you can get into it whenever you're ready.
Sure.
Oh, melodious song. I was wrong when you were gone. I forgot its harmony. You were distance from me. Oh, colors of green. Was so stuck in between reality and dreams to see. You were distance from me. But oh, melodious song. I was wrong when you were gone. We will dance the whole night long to melodious song. We will dance the whole night long to melodious song. Let me slip off my shoes. I've lost all my blues. Feel the rhythm and here's the cue for melodious song. When you were gone, oh how my heart it burned for your voice and yearn. But now things have turned for oh melodious song. I was wrong when you were gone. We will dance the whole night long to melodious song. We will dance the whole night long to melodious song. Let me slip off my shoes, for I've lost all my blues. Feel the rhythm and here's the cue for melodious song. When you were gone, oh how my heart it burned for your voice and yearn. But now things have turned for a melodious song. I was wrong when you were gone. We will dance the whole night long to melodious song. We will dance the whole night long to melodious song. Oh, melodious song. Whoa, yeah. Oh, melodious song. Whoa, yeah. Oh, melodious song. Yeah. Whoa, yeah. Oh, melodious song. Whoa, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Great stuff.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Loving the energy that you're bringing to pretty much everything you do. Your energy level and your excitement and passion is like pretty consistent.
Oh, thank you.
Across all of your work. So that's really cool to see.
That.
Very happy to see it live. Very cool. So talk to me about like all of the different passions you have and your hobbies. You're a filmmaker, you're an author, you're a musician. Like, how does music play a role in all of that? And are you ever like struggling to balance it all?
Sure. Oh yeah, struggling every day to balance it all. There's just a pile of projects that I'm working on, but they're all outlets. Music was the first one that I had, but I also wrote stories as a kid. So I guess I carried that on later on, but music was the one that I wanted to do. Right. Music was what my focus was until probably about my mid-20s, and then I wanted to do a TV show, much similar to this, like a music variety show, and I did one in Keene, New Hampshire, and I started doing that, and slowly but surely some comedy sketches started going in. And with the comedy sketches, also entered in this like new plot story that was long running in the show, which ended up becoming Oh Melodious movie.
That's right.
Side 1, which will be on Amazon Prime Video. Should be by next month. Takes a long time for them to process it.
Very exciting.
But it should be on next month. But it's also aired right here on WMCT.
That's right. Every week on Friday night, I believe we play it. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because we had the premiere.
That's so cool.
We had the premiere, and then I just wanted to keep playing it so that it got to as many eyes as possible. So.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Yeah,
you, sir.
anytime,
Thank you, sir.
of course. Thank you for supplying us with a feature-length movie.
Oh, that's perfect. That's Friday nights at TGIF, baby. That's perfect.
Exactly.
So I got that. So I started getting into that. And the comedy I loved, but also writing fantasy stories and sci-fi stories and all the wild ideas. So the music, the comedy, the stories, they're all flowing out. So I did a children's book, Atticus the Elf, in, I think the year it was published was 2018. Nice. And then I did another one called Betsy Robin. So there's 2 children's books, storybooks that I did. They're illustrated by a very talented young woman named Mariah Pawelczyk. Filmmaking wise, it did start with the TV show, and I started to just do it live to tape, so to say. But over time I started to edit it a little more, and then I'd film a sketch, insert it into the show, film a sketch, and eventually the whole show became sketches and music videos.
Wow.
Yeah, and it became like a another outlet, so to say.
It's great. And where can we find that? Does that exist on YouTube nowadays, or
the television series?
Yeah.
So there's some episodes on YouTube, but since I I some of the scenes into the movie. I have yes, those episodes are now unlisted.
I see.
So if there were guests on the episodes, they still have the links, but otherwise they're not up just because you got to see it, got to get the ticket for the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough. So talk to me about going into 2023. Do you have any goals for this year in terms of filmmaking, music, anything?
Sure. Yeah. Well, one big goal is the biggest project I'm working right now is a monster movie comedy.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's kind of in the vein of Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Okay.
But it's going to be with my friend Dave, who was my co-star or co-rock, if you've seen the film in Melodious movie. But he and I did a first draft script, and he and I are kind of workshopping through it, and he's made it a lot stronger. So he's come on board as a co-writer. But it's called The Hay Man. And it's about these 2 brothers, 2 estranged brothers that are a little bit resentful of each other. Or one of them's resentful of the other one, the Schlemiel and the Schlebasel. But the Hay Man is this monster that you'll have to see. And it's attacking their farm. And that's all I'm going to say. But I will say there's going to be a lot of techniques that I'm learning that I haven't used before. For the monster, this is not going to be a guy in a suit. It's going to be something else.
By any chance, are you using miniatures?
So I'm starting with a miniature.
Very cool.
I guess I'll
you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. I'm just curious.
I'm basically using a real miniature scanned in 360 degrees, and that miniature is being manipulated on the computer, computer graphics.
Wow, very interesting.
Right. So
I remember your interview about O Melodious movie and how you talked about you had to teach yourself all these skills like color grading and all these different editing techniques in order to make that happen. Are you kind of going through that process again right now? Yeah.
So now that I've got all those in my back pocket, I'm going into my second year of school with this movie, and I'm learning these new things it's kind of a blend between stop motion and computer graphics, I guess. It's like a 3D model. But there's that. There's the script, working on with my buddy Dave Allen. And also I'm going to be shooting it black and white, which is going to be mostly black and white. There's also going to be a cameo by our very own Ryan here. He's got a little cameo. And
Ryan, you don't tell me these things, man. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see that.
He's actually going to be playing a TV producer.
I love that. That's perfect.
But yeah, there's lots of things, and I got a wide angle lens, so I got to learn how to use that. It's going to be shot at my grandparents' farm, so there's a real farm.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm very invigorated.
Lots of things on the docket for you. That's crazy. Yeah. All right. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about this next song you're gonna play?
Sure. Yeah. So this is called "Our Time Has Passed," and I did a music video for it, and it went over hotcakes.
That's awesome. Which you can watch on our Access channel, by
That's
the way.
right.
Yep.
Yes, you can. This one is it's on WMCT. It's also on YouTube if you ever want to look it up. It's called Our Time Has Passed, and it's PAST, which most people would say that's not how you spell it, but it's like, I don't know, it's a cool artistic license, poetic license, whatever you want to call it. But there was a song contest by this company called N-Track, and they make a DAW, which is Digital Audio Works. You, I'm sure, are familiar with that, Digital Audio Workstation. And they had a contest. They had a chord progression, like a track already recorded, and they said, record your own, melody and lyrics over this.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So I did, and the grand prize was $200 or something. So this was during the pandemic. So I was like, oh man, I really want that $200. And I worked really, really hard, intensely. I just found out about the contest, and that it was ending the next day.
Wow.
So I did I figured it out. I wrote out some vocals. And recorded it, and then it came out well, and I got second prize, so I got a copy of the DAW, the
that's awesome.
DAW Digital Audio Workstation, and that's right, and I liked it. I was like, hey, you know what, that's pretty good. So I should record like my version, because you got to re-record the backing track. You can't use their backing track. So I did, and then I shot the music video here, right over there in the other part of the studio.
Which is awesome.
Yes. Yeah, and it came out well. I had a blast, and well, that's all I have to say about that.
All right, let's get into it then.
All right, here we go.
Wouldn't kiss you if you asked me. Wouldn't chase you if you ran. 'Cause I wasn't in your plan. Run as fast as you can. So sorry that I committed to you faithfully. So sorry that I was last. Now you come expecting forgiveness, but I have none to spare. Winds changing, our time has passed. Now we're sitting on your bed. I turn and walk away, but I won't give you the day. Had as much as I can take. So sorry that I committed to you faithfully. So sorry that I was last. Now you come expecting forgiveness, but I have none to spare. Winds changing, our time has passed. So sorry that I committed to you faithfully. So sorry that I was last. Now you come expecting forgiveness, but I have none to spare. When it's changing, our time has passed. Our time has passed.
Woo!
Thank you.
Well, great stuff. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Do you have any influences for your guitar playing? Because the chaotic nature of those slides you're doing, and it's all great stuff. But
Thank you.
What do you accredit that to, really?
Sure. So part of it is, in the mind, and as a multi-instrumentalist, you, I'm sure, are aware of this. You've got other parts playing in the song, and in the studio, you can play those parts. But in your mind, you can't, so you have to fill in all the gaps. So maybe in the studio, I would play the part. But live, I got to do this. Because you don't have drums, so you got to make your drums.
That's right.
But I would say one of the guitar influences that played like that, I don't know if he was a pioneer in it, but Dave Matthews would kind of do that, like...
Definitely.
Right, and that's part of it. For the guitar style, I think Pete Townsend maybe too. Some people call it lead rhythm.
Right.
But
right.
yeah, it's rhythm guitar, but you're trying to keep it up so that it sounds like almost there's a whole band with you.
So does that kind of fall into the category of like either a pro or a con of playing live? And would you mind listing some other pros and cons of playing live?
I'd love to list some. So a con of playing live is, yes, you don't have the backing. You don't have the backing that's in your head, and there's always a little bit of sadness that comes out of me. It's internalized when I play live, because I'm going, these folks aren't hearing the, all the parts in the studio version. But what they are hearing is a stripped back version that, you have to fill it in with as much guts as you can. And that's kind of special in its own way. So I guess that's a pro of it. Another con is people not clapping. That's happened a lot. And this is like when I'm playing to an audience, not like, when you're just on the side of the street. Let's see. Not getting paid what you were told you were going to get paid. So you just don't go back and play there.
Right. That's something you kind of have to learn the hard way, regardless of. Yeah.
That's a trap you just fall into.
Unfortunately.
Another is hecklers. I've only had it happen a couple times.
Really?
Oh, sure.
So what's your worst, or maybe not your worst? What's a heckler story that stands out to you?
Oh, I got a good one for you.
Yeah, tell me.
You ready for this? Okay. So I was playing at a place called Local Burger in Keene. Might still be there. I don't know. Have been there in years. But this guy comes up to me. He looks kind of like a Greek King Midas type, maybe. Okay. But he looks like he's not in my solar system. He's in another one. And he comes right up to my face, and I'm playing, and I'm just thinking, oh no, what's going to happen? And I forget, he was just kind of muttering things to me while I was playing. So I'm like, oh boy, now this, I got some strange hex on me from this guy from, Alpha Centauri. And later on, he's like bothering the other people in the restaurant. And eventually they threw him out. But he came back, and he was taking the ketchup bottles and squirting them right into his mouth, just going from table to table and doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, and then he got sick on the floor. I know, is it okay to continue?
Yeah, keep going.
It doesn't get much worse than that. But he got sick on the floor, and he's trying to clean it up himself with his bare hands.
Oh.
And
you said it didn't get worse.
And let me tell you, man, that was the worst one. And
wow.
Yeah, I won't say his name on TV, but I'll say that he was named after a beloved literary character. I'm not going to say which one.
Fair enough.
So.
Well, I think that's it.
So that's a con.
That's an important. It's good that he wasn't just bothering you. He was bothering everyone. It wasn't someone who was specifically seeking you out, seeking to ruin your performance. He was just kind of there to heckle the entire restaurant. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I saw later on he got arrested. So for something else that I can't say on television.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. That's just what happens when you play live. Anything can happen. Anyone can show up, and you just kind of got to keep rolling with it.
So I've been doing a lot more like family and children's shows,
Fair enough.
Because that's like never gonna happen.
And those gigs are, and those gigs are paid, I imagine.
They are.
So that's a pro, being able to find your niche and make it happen that way.
Yeah, I love doing that. What I did last summer and the summer before was I do a show where I play. It's like half music, and then the other half's like slapstick comedy, and which is it's almost like my TV show come to life.
Very fun. Are you doing that alone, or do you have another person up there with you?
It's me. And I have like a backdrop, and I got puppets, and I got
nice. I was hoping there would be some puppets.
Oh, you got? Oh, yeah, man.
That's awesome.
You got the puppets.
That's great. We'll have to talk after this because I have some filmmaking adventures involving puppets myself.
Sweet.
And I'll have to send you some stuff. But so what's the next song you're gonna play?
Okay, next song is one that I haven't recorded in the studio yet. It's called "Oh My Susie," and it's actually based on a melody that I wrote when I was about 4 about Thanksgiving.
Wow.
But I changed the lyrics and added a bridge and stuff.
So could this be qualified as a Thanksgiving song technically?
Maybe.
You don't want it to be qualified. That's what I'm hearing. It could be, but you're like, maybe.
Right.
Not.
It's named after my wife, and she loves Thanksgiving, and I do too. So I guess you know what? Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Thanksgiving song. Here we go.
Yeah. It's called "Oh My Susie."
Give me what you're giving. Give me what you're giving. Give me what you're giving. Oh, my Susie, railways across. I don't mind the cost. Give me what you're giving. Oh, my Susie. We can do the 7:30 and meet you at your house by 9. But you know I'll make it early. We're going running for our life, running for our life, running for our lives. Oh, give me what you're giving. Give me what you're giving. Give me what you're giving. Oh, my Susie, railways across. I don't mind the cost. Give me what you're giving. Oh, my Susie. We can do the mashed potato. Any dance I know you like, but you know I'll make it later. We go running for a life, running for a life, running for a life. Oh, give me what you're giving. Oh, give me what you're giving. Oh, give me what you're giving. Oh, my Susie. We can take the 7:30 and meet you at your house by 9. But you know I'll make it early. We'll go riding on my bike, riding on my bike, riding on my bike. Oh, give me what you're giving. Give me what you're giving. Oh, give me what you're giving. Oh, my Susie, railways across. I don't mind the cost. Give me what you're giving. Oh, my Susie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great stuff. I'm sensing some like Chuck Berry influence there. That was like such a perfect and wonderful homage to him, I think.
Oh sure, yeah. Chuck, kind of like Chuck Berry meets Little Richard is.
Oh, absolutely.
Is what I was because the intro is very Chuck, and then like woo, you know, is very Little Richard.
Awesome. Again, I just have to compliment the chaotic nature of your playing.
Oh, thank
it's
you.
It's very engaging and
thank you.
Something that I appreciate and practice a lot. So
sure. Yeah.
Really cool stuff. Is it more like your storytelling ability and your vast imagination plays more of a role in your writing?
Yeah, okay. I'd say so, especially now. In the earlier days, you know, when I first started writing, I was an adolescent, so you got a lot of strong feelings. Get a lot of strong feelings.
As you do when you're 16, 17 and listening to emo music every day.
Sure.
I know that life.
Sure, yeah. And there's a lot of things in your mind that you're definite, you're not going to budge on them. And a lot of things in your mind that you're very romantic, not necessarily in the love form, but you're very romantic about.
Right.
I don't want to say naive, but there's a lot of things that are going on in your mind. A lot of things you want to express because you don't feel like people are listening to you.
Right, but you might not have the right language or the right outlet, and so you kind of workshop different ways in order to get those feelings out.
Sure. And I suppose as I've matured that I don't need as much of that.
Right.
There's other things I need, and I guess the storytelling ability is part of that.
Right. Awesome. Well, speaking of storytelling ability, talk to me about the name Melodious Zach. Where did it come from?
Sure.
And what's some of the lore behind your stage persona?
Sure. So when I first started playing, this is about around 2003, 2004. I went by my given name, which was great for a while. But the thing is, if you really want to build up, and you really want to, and because I would love to make a living at this, I've been trying for decades. It'll come someday. But when you're trying to do that, you need to solidify who you are, and especially with the net now, where people can search like how many Zach Bentons are there that play guitar and sing. There's actually a lot.
Interesting.
And so it's like, I also kind of came to a point where I wanted to differentiate who I was from my family. So I decided to and then the third thing was a little bit of a persona.
Right.
Which is the wild and crazy guy, but it turns out I actually am kind of like that. But yeah, that started probably around 2017.
Okay.
When I started doing my show. And it was named after Oh Melodious Song, which is like the big crowd pleaser song.
Nice.
And so then I could say, oh, it's my theme song, and then it's my character, and I basically played myself in the Melodious movie.
Nice.
But it's a unique name, and if you search Melodious Zach, you're only going to find one, as opposed to
I figured as much. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So you're a multi-instrumentalist,
Sure.
correct?
Yep. Yeah.
What are some of the other instruments you play, and what's sort of like your favorite instrument? What do you gravitate towards most when you're either recording or just messing around?
If I was going to be out on Desert Island, I'd want the guitar. That's the numero uno, baby, but not the first one I started playing. First instrument I learned was, they're called the bells. They're like xylophone.
Ah, interesting.
And percussion, so drums.
Did you do like orchestra or something in school? Is that where you learned that?
Yeah, so we had concert band.
Concert band,
That was
that's what it
fifth
is,
grade.
that's what it
And then I started playing drums in the jazz band in 7th grade.
Nice.
And then I started messing around with the guitar in 8th grade. And then that was even more. Because I wanted to be like the lead front man of a band. And it's, I mean, now things are different. But in the early 2000s, being the front man of the band and being the drummer is not, visually it might not be the best thing. Apparently I was thinking about that at the time, but I wasn't thinking about, stage names or anything like that.
Interesting.
But I wanted to be able to play and sing, and eventually it became like I don't need a band to play and sing because I got the guitar. I started playing harmonica around 7th grade, and once you play guitar, these first 4 strings down an octave are the bass. So you can play the same notes, and there are bassists who have studied for years as bass players, and they'll go, "It's not just and they're technically correct, but you can play a bass.
It's not just a guitar, but lower is the end.
Right,
of that.
exactly. But if you know those first 4 strings, you can play bass well enough to accompany yourself in the recording studio.
Right.
Ukulele is another one that the tuning of that is similar to the top 4 strings, but it's not quite the same. Mandolin, which has the same tuning as a violin, so I can play a little bit of violin.
Interesting.
Keyboard, I'm not amazing at it, but it gets the job done in the studio, so to say. I'm not going to be like I'm not going to rip on the keyboard like Elton John, like I just played guitar.
Fair.
It's never going to happen, but it's good enough to accompany myself in the studio.
That's all that matters at the end of the day,
I think that's it.
That's a lot of instruments. The mandolin really took me by surprise. That's
Yeah.
a very interesting one.
They're fun.
All right, before we get into this last song, why don't you just tell the audience anything you got coming up this year, anything you're particularly excited about, any way you want to promote yourself whatsoever.
Sure. Okay.
Let them know.
I got a rock slide of projects coming in 2023. It's going to be a big year. Big year. We're talking jumbo. We're talking huge. Okay. Biggie sized. So, The Heyman monster movie comedy. That is in pre-production, to be fancy about it. But we're filming it this summer. It's going to should be out by Halloween 2024. So we got plenty of time to make sure it's just right for all the folks out there. Another thing that's happening is Melodious movie, like I mentioned earlier, is going to be on Amazon Prime Video. Should be on by the middle of February. If it's not, it will be on shortly. It takes them a long, long time to be able to process the movie, 2 to 12 weeks, and they accepted it back in November. Anyway, that's more info than you probably needed to know. Another thing is more studio recordings. I was working on a B-side yesterday, and Oh My Susie, I'm going to do a studio version of that with the full band.
Nice.
I've also been dipping into the live archive, a lot of stuff. So I've got a few concerts. One was like a live at midnight radio show that I played with a band called the Bylines. That was my backing band at the time. And another is an acoustic set that I played at Molehill Theater. But there's a lot of live stuff, and I'm also using new technology to isolate things that I couldn't isolate before. So I could take a mono track and remix the bass and the guitar. Use an app called Moises, I think is what it's called, Moises. And you drop the track in there, and it'll split off the bass, the drums, the vocal, and then everything else.
Oh,
and
wow.
so I can make a stereo mix from a mono mix. So I'm going through a lot of live stuff. It's also the 15th anniversary of my college band, Affirmative Jackson. We were only together for a year, but it burned bright. And
that's
I'm
great.
going to try to, I'm going to use an AI upscaler to, our first performance was on Keen TV. So I'm going to use an AI upscaler to bring it up to HD levels because it was an SD. And I'm also going to use that Moises app to make a stereo remix of the stuff. Also, Tunnel of Rhyme is a sci-fi book that I finished last year. It's like young adult kind of. It's like a novelette. Mariah Pawelczyk is illustrating it right now. It's a very exciting. There's some intrigue. There's like political stuff. Basically, there's a child that's sick on one part of a planet, and the only people that have the antidote are on this side of the planet. But these two people fought in a war years ago. They have not contacted each other. The only way to bring the medicine to the child is through an underground chamber that has lots of mythological, a lot of stories are told that you're never going to survive if you go through this. So that's the Tunnel of Rhyme. That'll maybe be coming out this year. Whenever it comes out, it's going to be slam bang. I also have, is it okay if I keep...
Keep going. I can't believe you can, but do it.
Sure.
Let them know about everything.
Sure. So my wife and I are also working on, it's kind of like a cross between the Chipmunks and the Archies, cartoon band called the Pachyderms. They're these little pink elephants. And I know it sounds like I'm making that up, but it's true. It's true. That's the name of the band. And she wrote some lyrics, and I'm going to add music to those, which is sort of the opposite of how I usually do. The music usually comes first.
A lot to look forward to in 2023 for Melodious Zach fans. Thank you again so much for being here with me today, and just sharing your positivity, your creativity, your passion, all of it. What's the last song you're going to play for us?
All right, this last song, Ooh Baby. It's called Truer Love. I wrote it when I was 17.
We love that.
Yeah, I was walking down to the chicken to feed the chickens that my parents owned. I grew up in rural New Hampshire, and while I was walking down there, I got the melody in my head for the verse, and then I walked, obviously came back up and started working on it, had a tape recorder, did the demo. But now here it is. My best friend Dave, on the studio version, he did the strings. Cello was played by a guy named Owen Davis.
Wow.
Bass was played by Lindsay Churchello. It was string bass. We also had violin by Haley Monroe and viola by Joe McConaughey. And those were recorded back in college, and we took that recording, and then I put new vocals over it a few years ago. So this is an acoustic version of that.
Always impressive. When I say Melodious Zach is a Marlborough legend, I'm not making this up, folks. Always impressive. Thank you again for being here with us today. Get into it whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Okay, here it is.
There are times that I've seen something I've been dreaming of. There are times that I've been staring at the stars above, but I will never have seen anything like you, and I don't think I've seen a truer love. I could climb the highest peak, the beauty would be the same as the feeling that I get when I hear your name. But I will never know how to put it into words, but to show you right now you can listen to the birds. Find me with her on my mind. Life is so kind, something I find. Apart from the daily grind, I can unwind, I can feel fine. There are millions of miles in this universe. There are millions of smiles when I am around her, but I will never know why. I just have to sigh, and I don't think I've seen a truer love. no place I'd rather be than with you. There's nothing that I'd rather do. There's no place I'd rather be than with you. There's nothing that I'd rather do. Whoa, 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 whoa. There are millions of miles in this universe. There are millions of smiles when I am around her, but I'll never know why. I just have to sigh, and I don't think I have seen a truer love.
Woo woo!
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Amazing stuff. Just want to thank you again for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, I hope to have you back sometime once we maybe get through the first season of this show and
Sure,
have
yeah.
another. Once you have some new music out, something you're excited about, just let me know and we'll get you back in here. Melodious Zach, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Such incredible stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching WMCT Live Sessions. My name is Alex O'Neill. If you're interested in being on here, if you have original songs that you'd like to share with the world, contact us. Let us know. We'd love to have more musicians from far and wide coming in here and making this sort of thing happen. And yeah, that's about it. Have a great night, everyone.